Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be showing you this makeup look right here. I have a bunch of new products that I picked up both in the Sephora VIB sale and also from Ulta, some sort of drugstore products that I picked up recently that I've been wanting to try. I wanted to show you guys kind of a new products testing video and also using some new different techniques than I typically do in my videos. So we're kind of gonna do our makeup in a little bit of a different way. Obviously the look kind of came out still my style of makeup, but I just kind of switched up the order I did things and kind of the techniques to apply some certain products. So if you're interested to see kind of a switch up in the makeup routine, then please keep watching. I also wanted to say my neighbors are being super loud throughout the video, so hopefully there's not horrible background noise throughout the whole thing, but if so, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna start off with how I primed my face, and today I actually used something that I picked up in the Sephora sale. This is the Dr. Dennis Gross Hyaluronic Marine Oil-Free Moisture Cushion. So I use this as a moisturizer for my skin, and this honestly is really lightweight. I have very oily skin. This is only my second day using this, but it really absorbs really quickly, and as you can see, my skin isn't like shiny or anything, and already my skin is like needing a little bit more moisture. So I'm gonna go in with my sunscreen now, and this is from the Skinny Confidential, which I've recently discovered her and have become absolutely obsessed. So a few of these purchases are inspired by her, but I bought this off of her recommendation. This is like an Amazon sunscreen. She calls it the caffeine sunscreen. It's called the Replenix Antioxidant Sunscreen Moisturizer. It has SPF 50 and it has green tea, caffeine, squalene, and a couple other ingredients, and it's like a broad spectrum SPF, and it comes out this like yellow color. But what she does is she actually applies it with a beauty blender, which I think is super interesting, so I'm gonna try it. So I have my damp beauty blender here, which I'm planning to use for my foundation. I'm just going to take my little dab of sunscreen here and just blend this into the face using the beauty blender. So I'm just kind of testing out all kinds of new techniques and products today, so we'll see how this goes. Apparently makeup lays really well on top of this sunscreen. I actually wore this sunscreen and the moisturizer for the first time yesterday, but I didn't put any makeup on, so I'm not sure how it's gonna go. Okay, so I like how this looks, and it feels nice on the skin because bouncing anything into the skin with a beauty blender obviously feels really nice, but I just don't feel like I can tell which part of my face has enough SPF. I would probably maybe need to just use more of a sunscreen or just apply it with my fingers like I normally do. While we let the sunscreen settle into the face, I'm going to go in with my new Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in Taupe, and I've used this a couple times, as you can see. I picked this up in the Sephora sale along with this Anastasia Beverly Hills brush in number 12. It seems like number 12 and number 14 are the ones that are really popular to use with the dip brow. I had which one's this? I had 7B already, which is the one that I use with the powder Anastasia products, but this is for the dip brow. So I'm just going to take this, and I'm really interested to do my brows first because I never do my brows first before foundation, but I have obviously tried the dip brow a couple times now since buying it, and I really like it, but you do have to kind of brush it through with the spoolie after you apply the product. And now I kind of understand why people do the brows first and then carve them out. Because before I would always do my brows last, and I was thinking like, oh my gosh, there's so much powder and foundation that gets stuck in my brows. I don't want that, like all the hard work I do drawing my brows on to be covered up just by like my face makeup once I do it second. But now I see that once you kind of use a pomade product like this that moves around and then spoolie it up, it tends to get really messy around the edges. So it's nice to maybe do it first. So we're going to try that out today. I've never ever done my brows first before my foundation, so this should be interesting. But I do really like the texture of this product. It kind of spreads really easily, but it is really dark, so I'm trying not to double dip my brush into any product until I've kind of worked it through the whole brow. I'm no expert with this, so I'm double dipping now just to kind of carve in or draw in my arch here where I have like a bald spot, because I just really need some extra help right here. As you can see, I've kind of filled my brows in completely with the pomade. Now I'm going to take the spoolie end and just brush them through. So I'm really concentrating on brushing them up. And this is where it can tend to get messy up there if you like move the product too much. So I'm being a little more careful than I was before because I really had some issues with this product staying put before it was completely set. So I'm just brushing through to make sure that they look really natural. And then I'm gonna go ahead and set them down with just some clear brow gel. So I'm actually gonna wait, now that they're brushed up, I'm gonna move on to the face and then I'll set them down at the end. I'll probably forget, but I'm gonna try to remember to set them down at the end just because I feel like that'll be better for brushing out any like powder or anything that gets on them. I don't want to set them too early. So for foundation, I'm going to use the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I have the shade number 2, which is actually the perfect color match for me, like my natural skin tone, but I actually just self-tanned slightly. You can tell maybe my neck and my chest are like slightly different colors. So I'm a hint darker than normal. So I'm going to get out my Drunk Elephant D-Bronzi to mix in just to make this foundation like a skosh darker. But this is something else that I picked up in the Sephora sale. I haven't had this in at least over a year. It's been a long time since I've had this in my collection. But this is a Holy Grail foundation and this color match is just absolutely perfect for me. So this is one that I always like. This is a good tip for if you're shopping for a new foundation in the store. I just put a dab of this on my hand and then when I go to try to find other foundations, I just match it to this one, see which one has the like closest shade to this because I know that this one looks perfect on me. So that's how I do it, but it's really nice if you can find your shade in one foundation. So I'm just doing a few dabs there and then I'm going to add in a little bit of the Drunk Elephant, not too much because I don't want to dilute the coverage. And then I had been like mixing these kinds of things on the back of my hand, but lately I'm just mixing it on my cheek because you know what, the product's gonna end up there anyway and I don't want to waste product on the back of my hand. And as you can see, I've had this like massive hormonal breakout, so we'll really get to test the coverage of this foundation today. And now that I'm applying it, I remember how much I love this foundation. It's super beautiful. Okay, so the foundation is mostly blended in, and as you can see, I just have these like few huge, enormous breakouts on my face, which are just extremely upsetting. So to cover them a little bit more, I'm gonna go in with my Clé de Peau concealer, and I have this in the shade Ivory, which is the lightest one. So what I do with this is I just kind of take some on my beauty blender and then apply that, like we'll try it on this blemish right here. Just to kind of pack on some extra coverage. Just on the blemishes where we need it. Honestly, I'm not too bothered about my like blemishes showing through, but some of these are just so dark and aggressive that I just need to cover them up. Anyway, okay, those are mostly done, and now for concealer, today I'm going to use my Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Concealer, just because this is my favorite of the moment. I go back and forth between this and Shape Tape, but I think I just really prefer this. So this is in the shade 1C, and I'm just layering this up under the eyes. And I think this, with this foundation, is going to be like my go-to when I want kind of a full coverage look. I've been loving the IT Cosmetics oil-free CC cream too lately. So that's just like really easy and nice on the skin for like just natural work days. It is pretty full coverage, but something about using a CC cream just feels like less formal, like it's made for just, you know, weekdays going to work kind of vibes. And the Luminous Silk is just more weekend vibes for some reason, or like going out vibes. I think this sits a lot nicer on the skin and like lasts a lot longer. The IT Cosmetics I think doesn't have like quite the same longevity and like nice appearance in photos as Luminous Silk. Luminous Silk is just the ultimate foundation. I'm so glad I have it back in my collection. Just looking at it right now on the skin, it just looks so skin-like. The color match is a little off, as you can see, just because my neck and my body and now my face are like 3 different colors. But halfway through like blending my foundation, I decided it was a mistake to add in the D-Bronzi, and I should have just left my face the natural color to blend in with my neck because I'm wearing a high collared shirt anyway and you can barely see my tan. But whatever, we're rolling with it. It's okay for 3 different colors. So to set the concealer, I'm just going to use my Laura Mercier translucent powder. I got this little guy right here. I'm just going to set this with my Real Techniques setting brush and go under the eye first, and then make sure that the crease on the eyelid is gone, and then set up there as well. So far the foundation is laying really well on top of the moisturizer and sunscreen that I used today. So I'm just going to do any little last blending, and then to set everything, I know my blemishes are showing through, but like I said, I just like can't be bothered to pack on the coverage today. So I'm going to use my MAC Mineralize Skinfinish in the shade Light Plus, which is my Holy Grail setting powder. I'm absolutely obsessed with this. I'm back to using this every day because I have other powders in my collection, but just like nothing compares to this, honestly. And I go through phases where I'm like not using it, and then there's just times where you realize you gotta go back to what works. So I'm having one of those times. I feel like my purchases in the Sephora VIB sale, I was just like going back to what I know can work for me. Picking up Luminous Silk again and all that, so just getting back to the roots here. So face base is done, and I don't really have anything new in the terms of bronzer and blush. So what I'm going to use today is right here. I'm going to use my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette and then my Charlotte Tilbury Filmstar Bronze and Glow, because I suggested that you guys pick this up in the Sephora VIB sale because it's amazing and I'm obsessed with using it every day. But I'm just going to go in quickly with the Kat Von D Shade and Light with the dark shade just to kind of carve out the cheekbones a little bit before I go in with the bronzer. The shade's really deep and really pigmented. As you can see, a little bit goes a long way, and it's kind of, I find, difficult to blend if you get a little bit too much product. So be careful with this, but if you want a really strong, like, contoured look, then this is the product for you, absolutely. And I'm also going to take a little bit on my NARS Ita brush here, just ever so lightly get a little bit down the sides of the nose. Okay, I'm just really not liking this makeup look because my skin is so bad. I just really didn't want to put makeup on today, but I wanted to show you guys these new products. I feel like in a few more days, all these breakouts are going to be cleared. They're starting to clear, thank goodness. But just right now, we're kind of in the thick of it, and putting makeup on just probably wasn't the best thing, but that's okay. While I have my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette out, I'm going to take the light shade on my Real Techniques setting brush and just use this on the eyelids as well. This is like a really nice base shade for the eyes. And then moving on to the Charlotte Tilbury, I'm going to use that same brush I was using before on my contour and take the bronzer shade here and just warm up the whole entire face. Now for blush, again, nothing new. I'm just taking my Marc Jacobs Air Blush in the shade, what is this? Lush and Libido, which is like my favorite blush at the moment. And using this on the cheeks. I just can't stop, won't stop with this blush, you guys. Okay, now that blush is done, I'm going to move on to highlighter, which is a new purchase, even though it already has finger marks all over it. This is the Jouer powder highlighter in the shade Citrine, which is absolutely beautiful. I've used this a couple times, and I'm going to try out something new with this as well today, which is to apply the powder highlighter with my damp beauty blender. So I'm just going to rub this on there, and then as you can see, I picked up quite a bit of highlight, and then I'm just going to dab this onto the cheeks. So supposedly this gives you like a more natural and like melted in highlighter look. I find that this applies the highlighter really strong, so it's looking quite intimidating at the moment, but I'm just going to keep rocking with it and apply more and more. So hopefully you can see in this light, that's like a very strong stripe of highlighter. So what I'm going to do is go back over with the other side. So my highlighter's on this side of my beauty blender, and this is the side I use for like foundation and concealer and everything. And I'm just going over everything to kind of melt everything together all over the face and make sure that there's no like unblended areas of like harsh stripy highlight or contour or bronzer or anything. Okay, so I will say that the foundation is looking really well, and even after blending everything on top with a damp beauty blender, my skin and my pores still look like flawless in terms of like coverage. I was having a problem with getting like strawberry nose. If you guys know what that is, it's like when all the like little oily dots from the pores on your nose kind of peek through no matter what like foundation and powder you were wearing. And I found that that was from just poor choices of moisturizer before doing my makeup. So I have oily skin, and it's really hard to find certain like moisturizers or sunscreens and things like that that sit well under makeup because your oils just automatically peek through, and this is like really looking really nice. And I think it also has to do with having like a really quality nice foundation that I trust. But so far the combination of these products is good. Everything's like kind of too early to tell if these like two skincare products are like really going to work for me long term, but at the moment it's looking good. So now one thing I will say is the brows are in need of attention. So like I predicted, there's definitely some like base product that got like into the brows, so I'm just kind of going back over with my brush. I didn't add any additional product here, just whatever was kind of left on there. So I'm kind of trying to combat the fact that there is now a bunch of powder and foundation in my brows. I don't understand how people do their brows before their base makeup. It's just not working for me. But I mean, we're just gonna leave them there because I don't want to redo them. Like, that's just ridiculous. I'm not gonna do my brows twice. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set with my NYX Control Freak Brow Gel. This is just a clear brow gel. Now for eyeshadow, I'm not doing anything new. I'm going to go in with my signature matte color, which is MAC Soft Brown, on just my Sigma E40 brush, and just blend this through the crease. You could also do this with the Kat Von D shade or the bronzer shade from Charlotte Tilbury. This MAC shade is just like my ride or die, so I use it every day. So I didn't have anything new to test out here, so I just wanted to walk you guys through what I did though, because it's nothing fancy and you've seen me do it 1,000 times, but that Kat Von D powder underneath kind of makes a nice base. But what we are going to experiment with is another Skinny Confidential recommendation, which is the NYX Shimmer Down pigment, and this is in the shade Platinum, which I think looks like a pretty good dupe for, this is MAC Vanilla pigment, and you know I love a strong inner corner highlight, so I was super interested to try this. Let me find my brush for it. And Lauren from Skinny Confidential says she applies this with the corner of the damp beauty blender. I tried that the other day and found that it was just like too messy to keep where I wanted, because this is really like a glittery pigment, if you can see. I just loaded some up on my little shader brush here, and I'm just going to take this on the inner corner. As you can see, this is like a really chunky glittery effect, which I think the MAC Vanilla pigment is much more finely milled and doesn't come off so much as a chunky glitter. Like this to me is more like festival-y, just like a different, more night out kind of look, and I'm going for a daytime look today. But I have been rocking this in the daytime anyway, just because I think it's like interesting to try these different looks. But if you're looking for something more glittery like this is definitely super striking depending on the angle that it hits you. But the MAC Vanilla pigment is just, hopefully you can see in the lid, it's just like a little bit more finely milled and not quite so of a chunky glitter. But for the price, I mean, this was like obviously really inexpensive in the drugstore, but you can get these mini MAC pigment sizes, which are also super affordable. And I've used this probably like 2,000 times, and it's still like full to the brim. So you get longevity out of both products, I think. It just depends if you're going for drugstore or not. I think this is a great alternative to the MAC pigment and just like a nice, like fun, brightening, different product to try. And another Skinny Confidential product that we're going to try is the L'Oreal Voluminous Superstar Mascara. This is the two-ended one that has a primer and a mascara. So I've actually used this already. A lot of these products, this isn't a first impressions video, it's just kind of trying new techniques and new products all together video. So I have actually used this already, and I do enjoy this primer. The mascara, however, has been transferring on me. So the other day I used this primer with just another mascara in my collection, but how Lauren recommends to use it is to use the primer first, then curl your lashes, then apply mascara, instead of you would tend to curl first. So right now I'm just applying the primer on uncurled lashes, and then we'll go in. Okay, primer's on, and now I have my eyelash curler here, and I'm just going to curl the lashes without pinching my eyelid. That would be good. And I tend to like to curl my lashes first just because I get product on my eyelash curler and I don't like that. But we're trying new things today, so we'll wipe off the product. And then now for mascara, I'll just go ahead and use this one so you guys can see it in action. And this brush is shaped like kind of a curve like this. And I think that's really nice for like holding a curl and making your lashes look nice and voluminous. And the effect is really nice. Like I'm really impressed with this. Like I said, it's just been transferring on me. So hopefully that doesn't happen today, because we have good moisturizer and priming situation for the lids. And now the final product that we're going to try is the Jouer lip cream in the shade Praline. And I'm going to have a confession about this product as well, because a lot of the products that I bought in this sale were just like influenced by other people. Like I mentioned, the Skinny Confidential. And this is something that I saw on Kim Zolciak-Biermann literally years ago. She was posting on her Instagram stories about her lip color, and obviously she has like huge fake lips, but they always look amazing because she does like full on makeup every day. And she mentioned this specific color, Praline, and I just thought it looked so gorgeous. Again, I've tried this product already, and it's pretty sheer to what I thought it was. I'll swatch it on the back of my hand to see if it shows up sheer. So I guess it doesn't. It looks pretty full on here, but when I applied it on my lips, it just really kind of applied a little more sheer than I was anticipating because it's so shimmery. So today I think I'm going to apply with a lipstick underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and line my lips first with Pillow Talk by Charlotte Tilbury. So my lips are lined and filled in with Pillow Talk. Now I'm going to go in with this Jouer lip cream. And I think the problem that I had before was maybe there wasn't enough on the wand, so we're just going to really pack it on here. Okay, so there's the lip cream applied. As you can see, it's like really metallic and I would say like kind of 80s inspired, but I think that's coming back in style. I mean, Gucci just released their new line of lipsticks and their advertisements, which are totally, I would say, like 80s inspired. So hopefully this like lip look is working. We'll see. I think I might need another layer. It felt really creamy. Now it's kind of dried down, really matte, and it feels really good on the lips, but I think I need like a little bit more shimmer, so we'll go in with a little bit more. Yeah, I don't know if this is like a wearable lip color, but it's definitely like striking and really shiny. I think like, again, for a night out, this would be really cool, but I think you can get away with it during the day. It's just a little bit more like metallic than I would tend to wear for an everyday look. It's just a little bit more like wham, bam, hello, like here are my lips. But I wanted to try out all new kind of looks and styles for you guys today, so hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing different techniques, doing the brows first, curling after primer on the lashes, using like a shimmery lip color, applying the highlighter with a beauty blender, all kinds of kind of different methods for application, and as well as seeing a bunch of brand new products that I picked up in the Sephora sale, and because I was influenced by other like online people. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. As always, please leave me a comment down below if you did, and give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe as well if you're new to my channel so that you don't miss my next video, and thank you so much for watching.